Have you ever wondered how the dams that tamed Europe's rivers for centuries have affected their natural rhythms and ecosystems? For hundreds of years, Europe has utilized a network of over 150,000 dams to command the flow of its rivers. These structures, some of which date back to the early 20th century, symbolized progress and power. Thousands of large dams were erected, along with countless smaller weirs and barriers. They generated electricity, controlled flooding, and fueled industrial growth. However, every coin has two sides. These dams, for all their benefits, also carried a hidden cost. They disrupted the natural rhythms of rivers, damaged ecosystems, and threatened the survival of migratory fish. Many of these structures are now reaching the end of their lifespan, becoming costly hazards instead of valuable assets. As we face the potential dangers of these aging structures, a quiet revolution is underway across Europe. Dams are being dismantled, opening up waterways for the first time in generations. A prime example of this transformative movement is the recent removal of 3 dams on Finland's Hålan River. The Hålan River, a 53-kilometre waterway that flows into Lake Ladoga, was once held captive by these dams. But now, the river is experiencing a rebirth as these concrete giants are toppled, a testament to the power of human engineering and a commitment to environmental stewardship. But this is not a simple task. Dismantling these colossal structures is a complex engineering challenge fraught with risks. Each dam must be carefully deconstructed, with consideration given to the surrounding ecosystem and the communities that rely on the river. This process of removal and restoration is a testament to our evolving understanding of our relationship with the natural world. It's a shift from domination to coexistence, from exploitation to conservation. It's a journey towards a more sustainable future, where we respect and protect the rhythms of nature rather than attempting to control them. But how exactly do these concrete giants get dismantled? Let's dive into the story of Finland's Hålan River, a unique ecological treasure and the home of the last surviving population of naturally landlocked salmon. This 53-kilometre waterway, flowing into the vast expanse of Lake Ladoga, was for over a century at the mercy of 3 colossal dams, Kangaskoski, Lanoski, and Rakosi. These structures fragmented the river's flow, creating barriers that disrupted the vital migration of salmon to their upstream spawning grounds. The consequences of these dams were not just limited to the salmon. They disrupted the natural rhythms of the river, altering water levels and sediment transport. This fragmentation of the river's flow created a ripple effect, impacting habitats for countless species dependent on the river's connectivity. The once vibrant ecosystem of the Hålan River was left in a state of imbalance, its biodiversity threatened and its natural harmony disrupted. The dams, initially symbols of progress and power, had become costly hazards. Their effects were felt deeply in the ecosystem, threatening the survival of migratory fish and, in turn, the balance of life in the river. The dams, once seen as solutions, were now the problem. But the tide began to shift towards the end of the 20th century. Smaller barriers on the Russian stretch of the river were removed, signalling the start of a quiet revolution. The reappearance of salmon below the Kangaskoski Dam ignited a local movement to restore the Hålan's natural flow. After a decade of legal challenges, a groundbreaking decision was reached. The hydropower companies would sell their dams and plants. This historic move paved the way for Finland's most ambitious river restoration project to date. A multi-year effort was launched to remove all 3 dams and revitalise the rapids. A tide of change began to swell in the late 1990s, with the removal of smaller barriers on the Russian stretch of the river. The removal of the Hålan River's dams was not just an engineering feat, but also a legal and financial one. In the late 90s, the tide began to shift. The removal of smaller barriers on the Russian stretch of the river led to the reappearance of salmon below the Kangaskoski Dam. This ignited a local movement to restore the Hålan's natural flow. Legal challenges were numerous, and the battle was hard fought. But after a decade of perseverance, a groundbreaking decision was reached. The hydropower companies agreed to sell their dams and plants. This historic move paved the way for Finland's most ambitious river restoration project to date. A multi-year effort was launched to remove all 3 dams, Kangaskoski, Lanoski and Rakosi. Each dam presented its own set of challenges, but the shared goal was the same: restore the river's natural flow and revitalise the rapids. In September of 2021, the first chapter of this transformation unfolded with the removal of the Kangaskosky Dam. Its demolition sparked an immediate ecological response. Within mere weeks, salmon spawning nests dotted the newly opened river section, a thrilling sight and a promising start. Fast forward to July of 2022, the largest of the dams, Lenosky, was also removed. But the final chapter in this restoration story was yet to come. The Rákóczi Dam, a towering 4-metre-high barrier constructed in 1921, was the furthest upstream obstacle. In August of 2023, a carefully planned 4-month process began to dismantle the Rákóczi Dam and restore the surrounding rapids. At a cost of approximately €750,000, the project was made possible through the generous support of public and private donors committed to ecological restoration. The removal of the Rákóczi Dam in 2023 marked the final chapter of this restoration story. The dam's removal coincided with the autumn salmon spawning season, making immediate observations challenging. Yet, the results further downstream are immensely promising. As we continue to observe the river's recovery, we're reminded of the power of collective action and the potential for humans to restore the natural rhythms of our precious ecosystems. The promising results at the Kangaskosky site is a testament to the success of this project. But how exactly are these concrete and steel titans dismantled? The aftermath of dam removal has proven to be transformative. The river's natural ebb and flow are restored, habitats are reconnected, and migratory fish like the landlocked salmon are able to access their spawning grounds. The sight of salmon nests dotting the newly opened river section and the remarkable density of salmonid fry are tangible proof of this ecological rebirth. But the process of achieving this is no small feat. Picture a massive construction project, but in reverse. Imagine the added challenge of working in and around a powerful river. Engineers approach each dam with precision, planning, and a profound respect for the forces of nature they're wrestling with. Stay tuned for our next video where we dive deeper into the fascinating process of dam removal.